Yes.
Yes.
See? She's going to turn into a rage monster.
Commence. This is UnpauseIt, the podcast by a family of geeks. Willis Drive.
Movie, The Incredible Hulk. We shall be talking about this in this podcast. Pum pum pum. Technical specs. Dad, you have the floor.
What are technical specs? The dad abides.
Yes. What are technical specs?
Point for one question.
We're going to talk about this. We are talking about The Incredible Hulk, as he had just said. It was released June 13th in the year of our Lord, 2008.
Did we possibly see this as a birthday gift to you?
Probably. Fun fact, the director, Louis Lederer, another technical spec on this one, we share the same birthday.
Whoa.
3 years apart.
So maybe it was a birthday gift to him. Well, golf claps, everyone.
This movie came out in 2008. It was the second in the series of what is now known as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This did not actually exist until after these movies were kind of a hit, after Iron Man 2 was successful with Thor. Now, what we are going to look here is this one is starring Edward Norton as Bruce Banner.
Yeah, that's
Liv Tyler,
different.
Tim Roth, William Hurt, a bunch of really cool supporting cast in here. Some of the technical specs on that one, we are going to talk about the look of Hulk. He was not motion captured. They didn't put a bunch of green dots and white dots on Edward Norton. So that Hulk in this movie is completely CGI, computer generated.
Just so you know, my dad is not a wizard. He has his iPad right in front of him looking all this stuff up.
I love that she's like, this is not coming out of his brain. He's reading this off the screen. Everyone should know. Very well done. Thank you for pointing that out.
Funny. I just want to talk about that, the look of the Hulk and how he looks different when they changed the Hulk in later movies, which we'll talk about when those movies get there. There was actually the actor acting out scenes and then the Hulk being put in. They did not do that in this movie. Now, those are the technical specs, if we will, and we will talk about the change from Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo, maybe in this podcast a little bit, but definitely in Avengers.
Do you have information there as to how far after this came out from Iron Man? Like, how far apart?
Iron Man came out in May 2nd. This came out June 13th. It was 6 weeks.
Wow. I don't think I realized it was that
same year,
that
2008.
back to back.
Yes.
That's cool. That was great that they did that.
However, when Iron Man came out, this was released by Universal Studios. It still owns Universal. That's why we have not had a sequel to this movie. Because at the beginning it came out and there's a Universal... they won't relinquish the rights to that. So they own individual Hulk movies, but Hulk can appear in ensemble movies. That's why Thor was basically a Hulk movie, the latest one, Ragnarok. No spoilers there, and why he was in it. But Iron Man came out May 2nd. Incredible Hulk came out June 13th, same year, 2008. Was looking here at what was going on. Now, box office on this one it did not make a lot of money. Opening weekend was $55 million. It grossed $135 million. Budget was $150 million.
Lots of dollars.
Right. It barely made its money back. The rule of thumb on a box office, if it has to double its budget to make its money back. So also another reason why we haven't got one. It was not popular because of the predecessor, Hulk from Ang Lee. Have you ever seen, Willis?
Yes.
The sauce? The sauce. Have you ever seen
Hello.
the Incredible Hulk TV show?
How you doing?
No.
You've never seen it, right? You've seen pictures on the internet that we've Googled, right?
Yeah, hi. Hello.
How about you,
How you doing?
Furious Girl?
Never.
No.
Wait, you know, those pictures, the Hulk looked really fake, dumb.
Out of the mouth of children.
Yes, you guys were like, that's so lame. You didn't see the pictures?
No.
I'm going to pull it up while you do it. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be taking pictures for our Instagram while we do
Okay,
this.
so
Yay.
now, what is next?
Superpowers. I will take this one. So, superpower. He was mutated by gamma radiation, trying to invent like a new curative medicine. He didn't know that General Ross, he was trying to create a super soldier, which would basically win the war on the battleground.
Right. What is a super soldier referencing?
Captain America, they tried to invent a new super soldier, but something went wrong, like gamma radiation spilled or something. In the comics, he actually tries to save a kid from walking into the gamma radiation box.
There's a couple of different origins in the comics.
Yeah.
Every time they reboot the comics, there's a slightly different origin.
Yeah, but the superpower is he basically turned into a giant rage monster with a heart for Betty. Also Black Widow. No spoilers.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
It's been out for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Everything we are reviewing is on home video, so you've all been warned. If you haven't seen this or don't really know if it's good for your kids, our kids like this movie. We will give our reviews at the end, right?
Yes, but wait, you're talking about superpowers?
So he turns into a giant rage monster. The only people who can tame it is Goodwill or...
No, that's legit. Niceness.
Yeah, somebody being nice to him.
Yeah, like not trying to shoot a gun at him,
Right.
which is almost everybody else.
Makes sense.
Is that what you had all down for a superpower?
Yeah, not me. I just teleport out of there because, I'd die.
You don't have any superpowers. Talk about the superpowers, George.
Yeah.
We'd all like to hear
Since
what
you
think.
are Furious Girl.
So, on my behalf, I say that his powers are strength and making cars fly.
Yay.
That is a superpower.
Right, and he's
You're giving
pretty
money.
much indestructible, right? Like, he was stabbed in this movie.
Yeah.
He fell out of a helicopter.
Yeah.
Talk about a lot of things they were trying to do. He was hit with 50 caliber machine guns, and it just dented his skin and then didn't pierce it.
And what else?
On what the dad Abide said about him getting stabbed, his blood was green, just like the green soda, and his blood fell into the green soda. It's kind of weird.
Oh, good point. So in the movie, he's been hiding in Brazil successfully. However, he gets found because in the factory, he has a red drop of blood that falls out. But you pointed that out, that later we see when he's Hulk, he has green blood. And one of the rare instances we see him bleed.
Yes, but the soda is green.
And his eyes are green.
How many green things were in this movie?
The sheets.
Lots of green things. The green credits, green eyes, green soda, green skin of him.
Green intro.
Green intro.
flowers, green
The
trees.
green laser. That
green trees.
gamma radiation.
That's why it's all green, because of the gamma radiation.
Very
part.
green all the time. So,
Green.
good point. What about other
Green
superpowers?
on the Ross when he's wearing the green shirt thingy, and we also have green curtains.
Green.
We
And
do.
the green Christmas tree.
So he also has healing properties because he comes back to Bruce and he goes back into Hulk. He's pretty much a new Hulk.
Everything that kills him or makes him angry, if you try to kill him, you make him angry, it makes him stronger. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about age? Because if he dies of age, but then he turns into the Hulk, when he goes back to Banner, will he just die of age again and start turning into the Hulk again? Will it just be like in the
Good question.
Yeah, it's my understanding that some of the comics do that where he just lives forever, basically, because he's like Wolverine, basically. Yeah. Wolverine, there's a few different comics iterations out there where he sacrifices himself and gets completely obliterated and only has adamantium skeletons left.
Wow, yeah.
But then
he regenerates.
Then you can take his bones out and that cells will start regenerating and you become him again. I mean, it's a comic book movie. We're not going to worry about that, but I would think that he would grow old and die normally, but it would be centuries. Hopefully he makes it through these next movies.
If I may, I was just going to say, his ability to survive the gamma radiation, in my opinion, is part of his superpower. It gets referred to later in future movies, as we'll discuss. But gamma radiation, I mean, look at what happened, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Someone drinks a drop of his blood in that soda, and they get poosh, wiped out.
You just drop.
He's able to survive the gamma radiation. And that is part of his superpower, I think. And also, I think ultimately toward the end of the movie, we see that part of his superpower is controlling the other guy, controlling the Hulk, and being able to, if he does rage out and turn, he's able to aim it, as he had said.
So, the person who drinks the blood, his name is Stan Lee. He's in every Marvel movie.
We'll get to that after we have major battles.
Willis, continue driving. What's up next?
We Weaknesses. What makes Banner weak? I mean, he's smart and all, and he can solve pretty much any problem, like mathematically and stuff, and scientifically and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Well, he turns into the Hulk, he's invincible. You kill him in the Banner state, then he just turns into the Hulk, but it also kind of, like, hurts the Banner state. And if Banner state completely dies, no regenerating, like obliterated by an Infinity Stone or something, Hulk might be able to survive that. Bruce will not be able to. And that's why Hulk does not like Bruce Banner.
Hulk definitely sees Bruce as a weakness, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why in movies later on we'll talk about he stayed Hulk for a long time. However, now is Banner really separate from Hulk? Are they the same thing?
They're the same thing. It's like Two-Face, but a little bit like bigger, different, angrier.
Green.
Yeah, greener.
Yeah, that's DC. We're not going to talk about
Yeah, hit things.
Well, I see what you're saying. You've got two people in one body, basically.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy.
Like,
And they have to reconcile because, Bruce was timid and mild, but he was actually always angry.
yeah.
And the Hulk is always angry, but he's actually can be controlled, as we see later on. In the end part of this movie, I'm going to go on weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And they talk about this in the movie, and it's pretty kid-friendly, but this is the final battle here. We're going to get into major battles as well. And this is also his vulnerability, because you have weakness and vulnerabilities here. He can't really control it if he rages out because he's being attacked or he's not aware of what's going on and he rages out. He just destroys whatever's around him. However, if he purposefully tries to become the Hulk, he then has a focus and he destroys everything around him anyway because he's still the Hulk. But then he's going after a singular purpose on the very end.
He can
Kind of broke Harlem.
Right.
Banner's mind can kind of guide Hulk. He still has many thoughts, but Banner might kind of guide Hulk or something. Try not to beat everything up.
I think his weakness
Yes.
is that he can't really... He basically needs help to get out of his state. He needs someone to help him.
Betty helps to kind of tone him down later in the cave, otherwise he's just kind of, I don't know if he gets exhausted, eventually he falls asleep or whatever, but Georgia, if I can, I'll ping off of you. I think his weakness is his humanity, because you see him in this movie particularly. He'll be the Hulk. He's all invincible. But his body, his humanness, Bruce is left to pick up the pieces later. Like, he just looks like he just had the worst hangover. He was in a car wreck. That's what he looks like after he's the Hulk, right?
Right.
He's just like, oh, I have hardly any clothes on. I'm exhausted. My body's been through hell. And here I am. And now I'm not invincible anymore. I'm just a human. So it's really rough. And I think that's part of his weakness is that he's being a human.
So vulnerabilities, what are something that distracts them from being a hero, like Hulk or anyone? For Hulk, I believe it is Dr. Ross, the lady form.
Betty Ross.
Doctor.
Okay, I'm going to call her Betty Ross because that's what it is in the comics and everything.
Banner is also a vulnerability because he can die in Banner state. Hulk's no more.
I put down he's more curious than cautious, and that's what the other scientist said, and he's a scientist, and that's what he was doing that too when he meets, Tony Stark later on in later movies. So this is a real thing.
I think one of his vulnerabilities is that he has to, and it's rather self-imposed. If you could imagine if it was someone different. The general mentions that he's not one of us. He's a scientist. He's not a soldier. I think the fact that he is a scientist and he sees the power of this, he also sees the inherent danger of it, and he focuses on that. And you do see that carry through into future movies. But he has to stay hidden. That is one of his vulnerabilities, is that he is constantly on the run. He's not ever able to stay in one place at one time because eventually something happens that even as careful as he is, he's got S.H.I.E.L.D. watching out for him. Yes, they're going to find him every darn time. So that's a vulnerability. And Willis, I agree with you. I think Dr. Betty Ross is also one of his vulnerabilities. And he couldn't stay away. She's a vulnerability for him.
Major battles, good sir.
Yeah, all right, my man.
Dun, dun.
Hulk versus Abomination. This is the last battle, but it's like the major
Well, let's
battle.
start there. So that's the last battle. The battle before that really was the campus battle.
Campus battle.
And then before that, so we only see Hulk, 3 times. 4 if you count the opening. But that was just, in the credits. You don't really get to see him. So let's talk about that. So the major battles. The first major battle. In the plant in Brazil.
Yes. I wouldn't really call that a battle or fight because they weren't any matches. No.
True.
No.
Very true. Okay, very true. But I think one thing about that one, if you remember, you didn't see him. And we've been waiting to see a good Hulk for a few years because the ones that were before that weren't very good.
Yeah,
we wanted to see him. He didn't see him, so he was having all this stuff. You saw the shadow. They had the flash grenade, and you could barely see a shadow. And he's moving all these tanks, and he's just causing havoc. He's hulking out, right? And smashing.
Hulk.
He is.
Right. And then you see him at the end, and he yells, "Ah!"
The only time you hear him say Hulk smash in that entire movie is at the very end.
Right.
I was just showing Georgia, this is a picture of
Lou Ferrigno
the
as
Hulk from the TV show. And all it was, green paint and a wig, people. That was it.
That's all they could afford.
Bye.
So we've come a long way. This Hulk looks much better.
Yeah.
Even the Ang Lee Hulk looked okay. But it was a horrible movie.
Yeah.
The Hulks have gotten increasingly better and better, and the one in Thor Ragnarok was amazing.
Okay, let's zoom ahead. So
Zoom ahead in the movie.
second major battle. The army is trying to kill Hulk, I would say. Or more take him in, capture and kill or something. Mm-hmm. They can't kill him, and they can't really capture him either.
He doesn't really know. It's like Ross doesn't really know how strong he is. Furious Girl.
Alright, so I chose it because we all chose our favorite battles. I chose this one. I called it College Campus Battle.
Yes.
Just because my mom told me to. It's very interesting. There's little gas grenades that go in there. And he takes off his coat and just uses it to protect himself like I am with my little mitten.
Yeah, he's trying to... I agree with you. I know we're going to talk about, get through all 3 of the battles. This was my favorite battle.
I second that.
It's basically, my favorite parts was that, he was just lying there where the big noise thingy was attacking him. Mm-hmm. And,
A Stark Industries weapon.
Yes, yeah. I know. I'm still talking. What I was going to say after the rude interruptions is that he just heard Betty Ross's voice, and she was going and then he just picks up the pieces of metal, uses them as the things that is in Tomb Raider, where they climb stuff, just uses it, goes up, throws it at the screamy thing in rain.
The sound cannon.
And that's your favorite part? It's like when they have this big giant thing and everyone's like, in the general, right? He's like, yeah, we got him. And then he's like, he hears Betty. That wakes him out of that. So a weakness and a source of strength.
I did like that part, and I thought that whole part demonstrated that when he is the Hulk, he's not just a brute. He's not just a big dumb animal. His brain's still there, and he figured out how to combat or refute the sound cannon to get out of that because it was keeping him in stasis. I also thought it kind of harkened back a little bit, just a shave, to the audio. Remember that audio weapon in Iron Man that Obadiah uses, where he's got the earplugs in and he uses it
paralyzed?
Yeah. I don't know that they're connected, but I thought of that. I'm like, so that was something
would make a lot of sense.
I thought about. Maybe those two are connected.
The next major battle, Hulk versus Abomination. The first time and the last time we see this battle.
But the third one destroys everything. It was really nice. The Hulk clap, where it creates that sonic boom. Yeah. But I think it was climactic, but it wasn't as good as the campus battle. I think we're agreed here that the campus battle was a little bit better done.
Agreed. It was so satisfying. Also, by the way, we hear the name Jack McGee. He's a college campus newspaper reporter, and he's the one capturing all this stuff on his camera. Mr. McGee is a reporter from the original series, the whole
TV show from when I was your age, kids.
So they had a lot of good throwbacks.
So I think Abomination as Kowalski, he was more of a fighter than Banner, because Banner was a scientist, he was a soldier, and that helped Abomination.
In tactics.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as strong, was he?
No. Hulk is dominating always.
Right.
I mean, Kowalski doesn't get stronger with anger.
Is that his name? Kowalski?
No, it's not. I
Do you
remember.
not have the cheat sheet right in front of you?
No, I
mister?
don't any longer.
We need to keep that up, mister.
Yeah, buddy, Weddy. You're not a Mr.
While he's
Wizard.
looking that up, Willis, you said it next to me while we're watching the movie right when I was thinking that too, because I was like, well, he's got a bit of an advantage because he's obviously a military fighter.
Yeah. Blonsky.
Kowalski.
Not very memorable as the Abomination, which I guess is a comic book foil to the Incredible Hulk, to the Hulk. But yeah, I would say as far as in the movie goes, he's the weakest part.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, I love Tim Roth. Love the actor. Amazing. And it's not like he did a poor role. I just think Blonsky, he's a Russian-born, British-trained SAS Army guy. It was a bit of a reach.
Yeah.
It was a weakness of the film on a just a technical basis.
He did a great job at the role, but yeah, I think the character itself was kind of never root for him, ever. And you're just like, oh, okay.
Stan Lee cameo. So I rated it 7.5 out of 10 because I have no idea what.
But what's the subject? Green glass bottles or what?
No, that's for the movie. That's our movie rating. No spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
This is just rating the Stanley cameo. So better than average.
Better than.
I liked it. He gets it. Wow. It's not as good as the Iron Man cameo when he plays Hugh Hefner, which is, Playboy. But because he looks almost exactly like Hugh Hefner in that one. And he's like, what? And he's wearing a smoking jacket. I just think that was a little bit better. There's other ones coming up because he's in every single Marvel movie ever that are better.
See, I disagree with you. I didn't like that he's obviously not Hugh Hefner. He's obviously not. And you're like, well, you're not Hugh Hefner. You're Stan Lee. But I like it when he, in his cameos, just plays a garden variety person who's reacting to the story that we're experiencing. So I did like this cameo. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
And this will be, I gave this one also, I give 8 out of 10.
Alright, so here's about the cameo, but it's a future cameo that hasn't been seen yet.
Should we talk about it?
Yeah, we probably should
Maybe we
wait
should
that
hold on.
Write it on your notes. Note it down.
Yeah, we need to
don't
hold
have
on
a
to
pen.
it.
And then
I
you
got a
hear
pen.
scribble,
There you
scribble,
go.
scribble.
I got a pen. All right. Anybody else sounding off? What do you think, Willis? Should anybody else sound off on the? Oh, what's your rating of the Stan Lee cameo?
10 out of 10.
Liked it that much? Was it your ultimate favorite then? Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
So next, favorite scene. Sorry, I said that wrong completely.
That's okay.
Now we know.
One of my favorite scenes is they're all right before you see the Hulk, because his eyes turn green. So,
the green eye.
yeah, like my all-time favorite one is when he's like meditating in that room. He's like, and then you hear the heartbeat, and he opens his eyes. It's green, and he just smiles.
Oh, at the very end of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Sabbath.
Sinister smile, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was a good ending.
I love this too.
Yes.
That also harkens back to the TV show we didn't see.
Yeah.
Because he would be like, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. They're beating him up, and then he opens his eyes. He's got green eyes, and something was going to get thrown in slow motion on the TV.
Yeah. So moving on to Mom.
Oh, thank you. My goodness. I get to go after you?
Lady to Stain.
It is Lady
The latest
Disdain.
thing.
I actually edited my ravings of this movie out from our intro episode because that was the intro episode. It wasn't about this. So this was actually the part I was really looking forward to because this is my favorite Avengers movie. And I get that we move on to a different actor. I get it. And I get that there are some really cool, like the effects just advanced, but this was my favorite. And I think it's because I did grow up on watching The Incredible Hulk and they do so many great callbacks. So you mentioned the green eyes, Willis. Yes. The moment in the factory when he just jolts awake with those green eyes, I'm like, oh, that's just like the TV show. I love that they use music to throw back. You hear the refrain from the TV show. They use that a couple of times.
The sad walking song.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, it's so great. I love that Lou Ferrigno makes a cameo. He's the guy who lets Bruce Banner into the campus computer lab because in exchange for a pizza, and he stands up and Bruce is like, whoa, you're big. So I love that. And I love Bill Bixby shows up in a clip, a small Sesame Street clip at the beginning. But my favorite scene is the opening credits because you get the entire origin story of the Hulk in the opening credits. You see what created him, you see where he went after that, and it pretty much leads you into the 5 years between the incident and then when we pick up with him in Brazil. So love the opening credits. That's my actual all-time favorite scene in this.
Speaking to that, Iron Man's an origin movie, Thor's an origin movie, Captain America, the first Avengers, an origin movie.
Yeah.
So we have Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, not origin movies, but Ant-Man's an origin movie. Doctor Strange is another origin movie.
Truth.
Yes.
So there's several origins. And they did this one in a way that's like, no.
Do you think they did it because they knew we were tired of all the other Hulk movies?
Yeah, because of the bad taste in them.
You're here already. Let's just get this done.
And they totally did it.
I once wanted to make a lady disdain happy.
They were very smart to do so. I am. I'm just overall very happy with this movie. Ed Norton did a great job, too.
Right. So we're going to go to...
Who's next, Willis?
Georgia.
My favorite scene, it's where they're just sitting there in a meditating forum and the dude just...
Oh, the
slaps his
jujitsu instructor.
Where he's
He just
teaching.
slapped his stomach.
Yeah, and he was able to control his stomach.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
That guy had some abs.
He was a real jiu-jitsu instructor, and he was really doing that. That was amazing.
That was one of your favorite scenes?
Yes, and then I have one more where they're, Mr. Rossi Prue. He's talking with the other dude that becomes Abomination in that place where there's...
In the hangar, right?
Yeah, with all the machines. I don't know if they're Stark Industry machines. I don't know. They're machines.
The military things.
And they're gigantic. Yes.
Why about that's your favorite?
Because of the machines are gigantic.
So you just like this. You like the military equipment. I like that. Cool. My favorite scene. It's kind of hard, but I like it when he's in the cave, actually.
With
And
Betty.
he hits his head, and he's holding his head, and he puts his hand on his waist like, ugh.
That's such a guy move. I mean, that posture is... I don't know if they just caught him doing that, and they're like, oh, we're keeping that in there.
It works out well.
I
like that. I do like the fighting scenes. I like the whole fighting scene of the campus fight. I do really enjoy this movie. It's much better than people give it credit for.
Agreed.
On this one. And now we're going to go on to our ratings.
So my rating.
Wait, what unit did you pick? Like, what are we rating it as? Like, what is it?
You'll find out.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Idiots! Because, think about it. There were the three bullies at the beginning, like idiots. They, who punched him and he turned into Hulk. Blonsky and Dr. Ross Poo Poo.
Oh, General Ross.
Dr. Rossi
General Ross?
Poo
You mean
Poo.
General Ross?
Rossi Poo Poo.
Yeah, General Ross.
We're calling General Ross Rossi Poo Poo?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what I
let's-
call my friend when
We'll
he's
come
very
back to
weird.
General Ross when he's the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, so-
he might,
Later
is he
movie.
then
So-
Secretary of Poo Poo?
Yeah, so that makes
Rossi Poo Poo.
5 idiots.
I can't argue. I mean, I'm not going to argue.
Good one.
Keep
Good
going.
one.
Keep going.
And then there are the 3 other idiots who are like in that metal base. Shooting at him from...
Well, they're just kind of doing their job.
Yeah.
Question
Yeah,
mark.
but definitely
Yeah,
the
yeah.
idiots definitely drive this whole.
Yeah.
Lots of idiots in control.
And then the last 2, which makes 10 after this, the ones who shot sound waves at the Hulk.
They were just doing their job.
Yeah.
But-
No, the sound waves are the idiots.
Okay,
There
but,
you go.
but basically, you've chosen idiots as our scale, our unit of measurement.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay, 8.5 out of 10.
So many dumb
Idiots.
people.
On the scale of 1 to 10 of idiots, I choose 6 idiots.
ooh, 6
So
out of
6
10.
out of 10. Huh? So
Not one
not
of
your favorite
favorites.
movie.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's like, nah.
You're allowed. You're allowed to have your own
Yeah,
perspective.
and you are younger and didn't grow up with Hulk. And
Yes.
that's part of this podcast is to get your input on what's going on. Who's next for the scale?
Lady Disdain.
My rating for this movie is 9 out of 10 idiots because it is, in my opinion, quite well done. I like just about everything about it. I don't know why I'm not giving it 10 out of 10 idiots. Oh, I would probably say, was it Blonsky?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that could have been tweaked a smidge to make it 10 out of 10 idiots. But 9 out of 10 idiots is my ranking for the Incredible Hulk.
You're sure about that? Because then, if it's your favorite Marvel movie, all the other Marvel movie ratings have to be lower.
I am hard to please. I got high standards.
It could be your favorite movie, and you can give it a 5. Because you might like something. You might like the flaws on this one. This isn't just like how much you liked it, but also a rating as the movie itself.
Yeah, it's not going to win an Academy Award. Never going to do that. It's fine.
You know, I don't even know if it was nominated for like special effects or anything. But since it's my turn, I'm the last one to go. I will give it 7 out of 10 idiots. Just a flat 7. So it's good. Way underrated. I thoroughly enjoy it. Watch it. You know, we've watched it, many times. I would like to say I would like to have seen the Hulk with Mark Ruffalo in this movie, or Edward Norton in the Avengers.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, we're going to go back in time to the last podcast, and we talked about Terrence Howard a little bit, being replaced by Don Cheadle in the next movie, which is Iron Man 2, which is our next podcast.
Which I control.
It's which Fierce Girl will be in the driver's seat for. I don't want to see Terrence Howard
ever again.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to see Don Cheadle in the first movie. Not this case. I think either way would have been good. That is mine. 7 out of 10 idiots.
Willis, thank you for driving this podcast episode of The Incredible Hulk.
You are welcome, good sir.
It is the night before Christmas.
It's Christmas Eve.
That's right.
Christmas Eve of the evening.
Follow UnpauseIt on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or visit us online at unpauseit.com.